On the end, we also have our champions. Here we have Dale Berg. Some guy, John Gordon, I think, and Hiddy.
I saw them on Instagram already, so I know how they look like. Okay.
So, team, who's going to kick off first by saying, awesome performance?
I can.
Yeah, you do, excellent. Nailed humble.
No, it was just like, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was so exciting to see and so different. This table setup is just the most crazy.
Yeah, like this is the MacGyver one. When my dad brought it to me, he said, it's just 20 minutes to put it up. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I have 15 minutes to set up 3 of them. It's pretty fun.
So guys, who's going to kick off with the questions first? I mean,
how many times did you practice setting this up? Like
almost 100.
The choreography must have been amazing because I was kind of over there and there was nothing here and I did something else and I looked around and it was all done.
Yeah,
I didn't see any of the magic.
Like actually, I practiced this more than the whole routine. Like I was starting with the 20 minutes, 25 actually, and I needed to go like below 4. So it was a pretty tough. It was a pretty tough one.
I think for me, so the first time in the preliminary round, I was there and I was watching you from this side, and I had no idea how this was constructed or how it was working. Every time you hit something or pulled something out, it was a surprise. And it's one of the first setups that I looked at and thought, you know, that's how a shop should work.
Yeah.
You know?
Like so, it was built up because first of all, I wanted 2 presentation tables because we had this crazy idea of this stuff in here, and we didn't have a place to put it. And then the problem was I don't have the space to keep all this stuff. So we just combined like creating a space, and this let me be like in a full like connection with the judges all the time because I don't move from there. I'm just like standing and just pulling stuff out. So it just let me to get a better connection. And in coffee shop, it's just about connections.
Yes, okay. Based on that espresso, this is the best coffee shop I've been to in a really long time.
Yeah, like, yeah. We're using like dirty cups, so you know.
Dirty cups.
They just enhance the body. And,
enhance the body, yes, somehow, yeah.
So you wanna?
So maybe would you like to make coffee for us?
I have to.
Yeah.
Okay. So would you like an espresso? Like both of them are delicious. Even milk base is like super sweet. Espresso is like as you see in front of you.
Can we get both?
Okay.
Espresso milk.
Yeah, okay. I would need to ask my staff to bring me milk. Okay?
Milk, please, milk.
Look at that, springing into action.
Want some water? No, I need my trolley. There is an extra coffee there.
So maybe we can take this time to brag about you a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was chatting with Aga this morning about how she is competing in the Brewers Cup competition next week.
Yes, yes I am. Next Sunday.
And she just did the Coffee and Good Spirits as well as the latte art.
Yes.
We've competing in every competition this year.
Yeah, this is a gift for myself, the worst gift ever. I just found out last week that it might be very difficult to do that. Like I'm turning 30 this year, and I just figured out that I need to grow up and stop doing that. So that's why I'm doing all of them, so I can get rid of it.
But how do you keep your motivation like that? Yeah, I know it's only if it's only focus on WBC, it's so many hard work. Yeah,
it is.
Like so many times, but at the same time, next week a Brewers Cup. Is a Brewers Cup next week? Oh my God! So how do you keep your motivation?
Like
it's unbelievable.
Actually, every competition is like for me a reason to develop. And so I'm doing most of them, so I'm developing different skills. So when I'm doing Brewers Cup, I'm focusing more on how the brewing actually works like, what are the flavors and intensities and how to get them out. When I'm doing latte art, I'm just focusing on like movement. And this is just like being patient and repeat. Every time I compete in latte art, it's like 2,500 repeats of one pattern. So this is a lot. So when it goes to Coffee and Good Spirit, you taste ugly drinks with alcohol inside at some point, but you can be more creative. Like there are different flavors, different techniques, different stuff. So it's just like just develop myself, and this keeps me going. The thing that I'm the most afraid is that when I stop competing, I'll stop developing myself because like I won't have this motivation. Yeah.
That's very inspiring.
Wow! Yeah, random applause. It's amazing. It's so inspiring. It's amazing.
And we forgot to mention that she also won the London Coffee Masters a month ago.
I did. I'm sorry. Yeah. But I needed some funds for the barista competition.
So while you're making drinks, I'm going to go through some of the live stream comments that came through. Somebody called Cristoferio. Does anybody know him? Agnieszka, I love the concept. You're on another level. Robert Dizizvers says, "Go Rojewska." From Tomek, "Go Rojewska, go. You're the best." From Alice, "Yeah, Young Thong." Where did you get the milk from? So where's the milk from?
What?
Where is the milk from?
It's from
Polish
Poland.
milk?
It's Polish.
Yeah.
It's just, you can buy it in the supermarket, actually.
Yeah, there you go. The supermarkets in Poland. Jordan Monty, "Go Aggie. We're cheering you in the back, all the way back in Australia. You're an inspiration." From Manol, "Go, go. Love your customer care experience." Felka, Manelka, "You're the best." Robsy, "Loved your presentation, loved your setup, story building up to the espresso." Michael Blazak, "Great job, we love you." And Manuel Chung Trello, "Great table settings, very impressive." So everybody's, that's the most comments we've had.
Thank you.
For anybody. It's definitely sparked conversation on the internet.
Okay, so would you mind sharing 2 espressos and 2 milk, please? Okay, so thank you. Like, my coach told me to always connect with the judge that doesn't talk to you.
That's me today.
Yeah, here you go.
What about Berg? Can you tell us more about your coffee itself?
Okay, so this is Ethiopian coffee. It is an Ethiopian heirloom, sourced by Project Origin back in Australia. This is a new growing area, Messina, in the Guji region. And the trees are just 10 years old, so there is a lot of yellow fruits inside. And the process was washed carbonic maceration. So it's just like a bit of experiment, because they depulp the coffee, put it into sealed tanks, and you already know the story: pressurized, no oxygen, better creamy texture. What I love about every espresso, and was always the problem for me, is the texture. And this one, if you even develop more of the pull like longer shot, it still gets this creamy texture. And this one, I hope you get it. It's like the texture is changing, and you can feel it. You can feel it in here, starting from velvety and going to silky, which I love about it. And it was always very difficult for me to describe espresso. That's why I built up this, because you can either love or hate espressos. And I always hate them, like for first 5 years. It was just like no good espresso at all. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So
most probably some Polish people did that.
So, Aga, tell us a little bit about your work with Sasha. Yeah. So how did you meet him, and how did it work for you?
But how did I meet him? Yeah. Oh, actually, it was I think he was a bit surprised, because all the connection was developed actually by one of his workers. We haven't met each other before I came to Australia. I was talking to somebody from the Project Origin. So. And they say, oh, they would like to support me, which I was like crazy happy. And I needed to hear it like 5 times, which is pretty cool. And then they said that, yeah, we'll help you with the coffee, but we would like to support you in more way, and Sasha would like to coach you. So this was like, I needed to hear it 10 times. And it's a pretty funny story, because it was 1st of April, and this is the day, the joke day in Poland. So I was just like, okay, so they are joking, yeah? And they will call me back tomorrow. And so I came to Australia. We spent, I think, 3 days just working on a skeleton of this performance.
Wow.
And then we were working mostly by, YouTube. Although all my routines are on YouTube, but it's like hidden. So if you want to watch them, I can send you a link.
That'll be good, and if you can share with everybody in this room, and that'll be perfect for everyone can learn, yeah?
Yeah, oh yeah.
How you build up your routine. Because now your routine is amazing.
Yeah.
But I understand that every time you started practicing your routine, it's pretty horrible. Me, back in 2014, it took like up to 30 minutes to finish up.
Like, you know, my first run through was like 27 minutes.
Oh, well done, yeah.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like we wanted to do too much. This was always my problem. I wanted to put a lot of ideas, I put a lot of stuff. We were even thinking about drinking an espresso with the judges and all that stuff. But at some point, I don't know how it's done, but I can pretty do amazing stuff in case of workflow. So we combine this, and it was just like I was just cutting. And also the guys from Australia, they speak English better than I am. So they were the long sentences I was building up, they were like stretching them to 3 words. And I was like, okay, it might work.
I think it's your routine became really focused on a few elements, but the amount of work you're doing behind the machine and the amount of, you know, we've got coffee and dry ice here, so we've got that aspect, we've got the carbonic maceration, there was part of, you know, Sasha's work in 2014, there's so many layers here that you're not even talking about it, you're just focusing on that experience, or this experience. I think it's incredible.
Like I was thinking, because I don't have this possibility to work with the, you know, scientists and do all this research. I don't have money for that, and I don't have time. I'm like independent, so I'm doing a lot of stuff just like to like develop myself. But there is no way I can go to any like factory or work with some scientists and do something more. And I just going back to my basis when I used to have a coffee shop. So in a coffee shop, when you tell to the people, okay, so this espresso will be made by ratio like this, and you have this grams of milk, and this milk has this fat content and the protein does this like little molecules that this does, and they're like, what? I don't want this coffee anymore. Like it's like science, it's science. And I was just like, okay, so let's focus on the other side. Like make this coffee. Like the coffee is getting more and more complicated. So I was focusing on how to make this complicated coffee, like washed carbonic maceration. If you even say it in English, in Poland, nobody will understand it. They're like, what? And so I was, okay.
Yeah, this is why I think your routine is very eye-opening. Because you tell the world that and how important to focus on in the end, and the coffee is all about tasting experiences, yeah? So in the very end of your routine,
I went crazy, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. You invite judges to the you invite judges to this table and focus on the sensory experiences, which is amazing.
Yeah, like I was the problem, like also for me is espresso is very small, very intense, and has many layers. And how to describe to somebody medium weight? Yep. How to say that there's like you have this, this, and this.
Very subjective, yeah.
So I just wanted like people to feel it. So it's more approachable. Like so everybody can, even if you drink espresso for the first time, so you can actually see the flavors. This is the problem. Like you have this aromatics in those small bottles, and you just like, yeah, I know what it is, but it's just not in your head. So when I want them to see it, I want it like orange, like this is orange. Like just remember how the orange looks like, and so you will be getting better like flavor descriptor. So this was the idea.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because most of all the flavor communication recently in a specialty coffee is all about verbal communication, yeah? But this one is more about the visual communication. Yeah. So which is really efficient for people's brain, because we all have a different background, yeah? I'm from Japan, US, Taiwan, England, so we all have a different, you know, perception. But as soon as we look at, you know, each visuals, and we can understand and know the flavor profile, which is amazing work.
Thank you.
And then
glad you enjoyed it.
I've got a couple of more questions from the live stream.
Okay.
One is from some guy again called Cristoferio saying, the theme of the presentation, bringing a customer into the coffee experience gradually and thoughtfully. Why is that important to you?
Like for me, the problem always was, so we were running fast like, as an industry. So we developed so much that the gap between us and the customers is so wide that we're just forgetting that actually those people over there, they create our community. So we should take like the biggest care of them so they can follow us, and the gap will be smaller and smaller. This is why I wanted to bring the other way around, not the. I wanted to bring the coffee shop experience to the judges, that they are like really high, and just make them like be a little bit closer to the community. This is what.
Fantastic. Another question is, you're talking about the tools on your bench. So somebody said they could see you had an OCD tool, but they wondered what the other thing was that you had there.
Oh, it's the OCD made by my dad.
Oh, okay.
But it's already Sash. He already said that he's taking it because he's collecting them.
Sash's lawyers are going to be right on you on that one.
Yeah, like it's a bit different. It's a bit different. That's why I'm giving it for free.
So, guys, any final words that you'd like to?
Can I ask you to give some suggestion for the baristas who never go to the origin or they don't know how to roasting? Because your routine, your concept is about customer service and how to build up the relationship to the customers.
Yeah. So, like I was in the exact same position. So, what was for me, I haven't been to origin, like just like pure origin. I don't know how to roast coffee. I have no idea. Like I just did it once in microwave and the microwave is broke. So I would suggest to them that if they will be just like themselves, if they will like be sincere and they will be just like the hospitality will be great. So even if they will make one of the cups a bit worse, the customer will come back and say, hi, the last one wasn't so great, but I like you. Just wanted to let you know that it could be better. So if they are the service will be good and they will be nice and they will be like kind people, so the people will keep coming back. And if they will keep coming back, the barista will know that he needs to develop or she needs to develop, and they just will. Because this is a beautiful job, like this is a beautiful industry. So we're doing a great job, and if the more people we bring to make coffee, the better it will be like for everybody. Yeah.
Great words to finish on there, and thank